Machiavelli believes that at the core of the human soul, in the marrow of the psyche, there is a beast, an untamed animal which wants only the satisfaction of its desires. Underneath our superego, underneath this veil of civility, this veneer of righteousness, in fact, we are animals exclusively concerned with the satisfaction of our physical desires. We are beasts with a very, very thin shell of rational morality. Machiavelli suggests that we should become on the outside what we are on the inside, except in such cases when it's inconvenient. If it's convenient to look pious, gentle, kind, and good, well, that's just fine. The important thing is not to be gentle, kind, and good. The important thing is to be ruthless and rapacious and treacherous.
Cheers, everybody. How's it going? Welcome back to the show. It's time for another brand new episode of the Politics and Punk Rock Podcast. I am your host, Andrew for America. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Salud and cheers. This is a delicious Bill's Two-Hearted IPA, one of my favorites. And today, people, I'm not going to be so conspiratorial and doom and gloom. Today, I seek knowledge. I seek wisdom. I seek understanding. And I think I found some videos that will help us all learn together about certain things. A couple episodes back, I asked a question in a previous show. Do you hear yourself talk when you talk? In that episode, I said this, what is it that makes people latch on to an idea that might not be true? Yeah. What if it's not true? What is it that makes people believe something so devoutly, so deeply, that they're willing to wish death on others, scream, fight, throw rocks, commit violence, commit atrocities in the street? Yeah. So I asked the question in that previous episode, what is it? What is it that makes us dig in the face of facts and evidence that proves the truth and the reality to you on some certain topic? Why is it that people still refuse to believe it? Well, I think I may have found the answer. And it's in this cool video that I found and I shared on my personal page. I'm going to share it for all of you right now. And this video is entitled, give me one sec, Why Facts Don't Convince People. Why facts don't convince people and what you can do about it. Okay? So I think this is going to be very educational and informative, regardless of your party, regardless of your point of view, regardless of your ignorant opinion. Or maybe you have an educated opinion. Who knows? Either way, take a listen.
If you've spent any time on Earth, you might have noticed that humans are not the most rational of creatures. We make decisions based mostly on emotions instead of facts, and a lot of times we're guided by tribal instinct. Part of the problem is that the human brain evolved to help us survive, and not necessarily to help us be factually accurate. So we often respond better to social and tribal dynamics than to intellectual analysis. For example, if someone's tribe believes that Obama is a secret Muslim born in Kenya, that person probably thinks the hard proof of his US birth certificate is fake. That conclusion is neither rational nor accurate. But from a tribal perspective, it makes sense. It's safer to agree with your tribe and stay united ideologically, even if you're wrong about the facts, than to disagree and isolate yourself. Another part of the problem is that our brain is constantly protecting our worldview and sense of identity. So when our worldview is challenged, that same part of the brain that processes physical danger gets activated. This is why people sometimes react so aggressively to information that proves them wrong. And this is why it's often so hard to have an intelligent political debate. Several studies have also shown that there is a backfire effect that happens when people encounter facts that contradict their current beliefs. They actually become more convinced of their original ideas.
Yeah.
So fighting ignorance with facts is like fighting a grease fire with water. It seems like it should work, but it actually just makes the whole thing worse. Lastly, there's the problem of lack of empathy. Several studies have found that when humans are divided into groups of any kind, we instinctively become less empathetic to members of other groups. That means that for survival's sake, we might instinctively empathize less with other races, other nationalities, and even other sports teams. This instinctive dehumanization of other groups is what makes things like slavery and genocide possible.
Dehumanization.
So, what can you do? If you want someone to consider factual information that clashes with their beliefs, first you have to prevent their brain from seeing you as a personal threat.
I'm not a threat.
Look for ways to identify the person as part of your tribe and you as part of theirs.
I'm not a threat.
Hey, we're part of the same family. Hey, we're both parents. Hey, we both still play Pokemon Go. Whatever. Anything that communicates that you're part of the same tribe. That's the first step. Second, consider the possibility that you may be wrong. Maybe the facts are not on your side, in which case admitting it will help you model to the other person that it's okay to be wrong. I understand that none of this is easy or smooth. But if we want to continue to function as a stable society, we have to learn to get past our own natural biases. Only when that happens, we will be able to move forward towards a better future. Peace.
Yeah, people. Peace. You see what I'm saying? It's all about peace, love, unity, respect, understanding, cooperation, right? Being rational, not being in fight or flight all the time, not being in survival mode all the time. I know, easier said than done for a lot of people. But sooner or later, my fellow Americans, if you want to find peace in your life, calm, rational thought, understanding, you're going to have to get out of fight or flight brain. You're going to have to get out of survival mode brain. You're going to have to get into a calm state of mind where you can think, where you can process, where it's not everything is a hair trigger and the slightest thing can set your emotions into whack, to where you're stabbing people, you're punching people, you're screaming and cussing people out. When you emotionally react, you show your hand. You show that you're not stoic, that you're not stable. And people are going to gravitate away from people like that. And it's natural to do so, I would imagine. If you're an unstable, irrational person that can't have a conversation and can't listen to anybody that may have a differing opinion than you on something, you are in a rough spot. And I really do wish the best for you. I really do hope you find a way to find peace and comfort in your life. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know if I can offer any advice. I'm just the type of person that doesn't expect anything he doesn't work for. I don't expect to receive anything that I didn't earn. I have gratitude for the opportunities that have showed themselves to me in my life. I constantly strive to be better, stronger, smarter, more aware, more connected, more cooperative, more pragmatic, more united with my fellow men and women in my society, regardless of our past, regardless of our racial differences, color, creed, sexual orientation, political affiliation. I don't care about any of that. If you're cool and you're down to kick it and chill, we're gonna have a great relationship. But if you have to find reasons to be uncomfortable, if you have to find reasons to not be chill, if you have to find things that are wrong with every situation, you're the problem. And you're going to have to figure out how to change that about yourself if you want to have any quality of life, regardless of who the president is, regardless of what political party is in power. None of that shit matters if you are an unbalanced person that cannot find a way to balance yourself. That's the best advice I feel like I can give anybody in the modern American world. If you can't find a way to balance yourself in a very, very unbalanced world, then you're going to have a rough go of things, regardless of your circumstances, regardless of the power elite and who's in charge. If you can't do that in your own life, I suggest you start working towards finding a way to be able to do that for yourself in this life. I'm going to hit a commercial. When I come back, I got some more very entertaining and educational videos that make me feel good. Learning about something and understanding it makes me feel less anxious about it. That's the type of person I am. And I really do hope a lot of you out there, especially people that listen to me, I hope you can do that. I hope you can find that for yourself. Contentment, peace, calm, the desire to be in a society of unity with your neighbor, a desire to think the best of people before you think the worst of them. You don't have to be in defense mode all the time. Just something to think about, people. Evolutionary psychology is why a lot of you will believe things and hold beliefs near and dear to your heart without the support of being accurate factually or having evidence to prove your claims. It's because you are afraid of the other and you need to be part of your tribe. It was a survival mechanism that has occurred in the human mind throughout human history. So completely understandable why we do it. I'm trying to point out that not only do we do it, we need to consciously find a way to not do it so much and all the time. Or else civil war is going to happen. We're going to be too divided. Nobody's going to know or care to seek togetherness with one another. And it's going to be warring tribes like it always has been since time immemorial, right? So if we're going to find a way to be calm, chill, peaceful, and united, don't you think it's a good idea if we figure out and learn about the mechanisms that make us so divided and so antagonistic and so violent towards one another? Maybe it's not the other person that you need to be worried about. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you that needs the overhaul, that needs the fine tuning, that needs the re-education, right? If you start with making sure that you're solid, I think life gets a lot easier for you to process when you're not at the whim of the world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You better carve out some time in your short life for you. If you're going to find anything resembling peace and calm and happiness and contentment in this life. Don't you think? I'm going to hit a commercial, people, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. I want to play you this video. And this is Conspiracy OG, Bill Cooper, saying something that is going to perfectly set up this next segment of the show. So, here we go. Take a listen.
Most people are no better than animals who do not have intelligence because they don't use their intelligence. And to these men who control things behind the scenes, you are stakes on the table by choice and consent, and will always be ruled and manipulated and enslaved by people who do use their brains. Yeah.
That's the reality. Like, just think about it. It's very common, logical thought. If you're the type of person that doesn't use your mind in pursuit of your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, your whatever, you're just increasing your own standard of living in your own life by your own hand, right? Without help, without a handout, without government, without your parents' nipple, whatever, right? You got to use your mind. You got to use your intelligence. You got to keep it sharp. When I was in the military, we do so much training in the military because the philosophy is you don't got to get ready if you stay ready. If you're ready to go in any situation at any given time, you're prepared. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. But if you get caught holding your dick in a situation because you didn't think it through first, when you had all the time in the world to be prepared and to get prepared for the worst, for the inevitable that will happen in this world sooner or later, whose fault is it for not, if you weren't prepared? Is it society's fault for not teaching you? Or is it your fault for not being ready, not being educated, not being aware, not being connected? You see what I'm saying, people? All right, let's take a listen to this other video. Or actually, no, I think this is just kind of a written piece. Let's take a look at this. Here we go. Mass psychosis is more dangerous than cancer, famine, or earthquakes. Why? Because it turns neighbors into enemies and reason into delusion. Here's how the ruling class weaponizes it to control entire populations. Carl Jung warned, man is man's greatest danger. Not famine, not microbes, not war, but psychic epidemics when entire societies go insane together. What is mass psychosis? It's when millions lose touch with reality at the same time. Delusions replace truth, and collective madness becomes the new normal. Pun intended, right? And COVID lockdowns are normal. You think untested vaccines are normal? History is full of examples. The witch hunts of the 16th and 17th centuries. Whole villages wiped of women because they found it. The church found any reason to label you a witch. The rise of totalitarian regimes in the 20th century. Great example. Both were epidemics of the mind, not accidents. When mass psychosis spreads, individuals change. They become more emotional, more erratic, and more irrational. Case in point here today on the show. They become willing to commit crimes they'd never attempt alone. And they become blind to the reality of what's happening. The worst part, like a madman unaware of his madness, a society in mass psychosis cannot see its own delusion. And my fellow Americans, that's why Andrew for America is here. I'm here to destroy your illusions and to reveal your delusions. How does it begin? Step one is always panic. Flood people with fear and anxiety until they crave relief. And this works, my fellow Americans, because most people do not take the time out of their lives to teach themselves the ways and the methods to fight fear and anxiety. You need to become uncomfortable, comfortable being uncomfortable, because human beings crave relief. So if you're the type of person that doesn't crave so much relief, and you don't crave relief very often because you're used to being uncomfortable, you're used to being in the abyss, you're used to the madness because you've taught yourself the ways to balance yourself in a reality of conflicting energies, right? Fear of disease, fear of enemies, fear of collapse, right? I probably don't help this so often. Hey, I'm growing too. I'm growing. I'm learning. Step two, the solution. When the fear is unbearable, people will accept delusions over reality. And there it is. They trade logic for lies, and those lies create a false sense of order. A false sense of order out of chaos. For all my occult enthusiasts, right? Step three, waves of terror. Fear is never constant. It's pulsed. Calm, then panic. Calm, then more panic. Each wave softens the population for deeper control. Step four, you guys know all about this. Propaganda. My favorite thing to talk about. Contradictory reports, blatant lies, nonstop confusion. Logic can be fought with logic, and confusion, on the other hand, cannot. Big deal. You have to get calm, cool, and collected before you can think rationally and logically, and no longer in a state of emotionally. Get it? Step five, isolation. Separate people from friends, families, and communities. And that's getting ready to happen a lot, it seems. Sadly. Alone, they lose the corrective force of positive examples. Together, they might resist. Alone, they obey. And that's why you need to unite and not be so divided. I swear to God, I got a method to my madness, people. All this crap I preach about, I have a point. I swear to God. Step 6, totalitarian control. The rulers rise to near godlike status. The people regress into childlike dependence. Freedom is traded for safety. And what does that remind you of? Ben Franklin. Any nation that would trade its liberty for its security, a false sense of safety, will deserve neither freedom nor security, and you will lose both. And that's another reason why you have to use your intelligence. You have to use your mind. Because if you don't, somebody else will, and that person is going to find a way to rule over you or to control you, to influence you, to propagandize you, to tyrannize you, to terrorize you, because you don't know how to fight back. You don't know how to do anything about it. You're standing there holding your dick, wondering where you went wrong. You don't want to be in that position, my fellow Americans. This isn't theory. It happened in witch trials. It happened under dictators. And today, technology has made mass psychosis easier than ever with these smartphones. Smartphones, social media, 24/7 propaganda feeds. Fear travels faster than truth, and distraction prevents reflection. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to fight the speed of fear and how fast it travels through social media and mass communications. Trying to level that. I'm trying to balance that with the truth. I'm trying to stop distracting you for a small few moments here on this podcast so that you can reflect on the information that I provide to you, on the information that you receive from the world constantly. You need the calm. You need the isolation. You need the getting away from the rat race so that you can think, so that you can reflect, so that you can ponder, so that you can consider all sides of an argument like a Renaissance man, like an enlightened human being. But there is a counterattack. Spread truth widely and relentlessly. Use humor to mock demagogues. Build parallel structures, communities, ideas, and systems outside control, and above all, strengthen your own mind. A sane individual becomes a beacon. One light can awaken many. You can light another person's fire, a fire inside. As Jung said, the Redeemer personality is the one who escapes the collective psychosis. Mass psychosis doesn't begin with the rulers. It begins with us, with you. When we surrender thought, reflection, and courage to the algorithm, right? Resisting it means reclaiming those things. Thought, reflection, and courage. My fellow Americans, let's reclaim those things. The mind is the battlefield. It is an information war. And history proves whoever controls perception controls reality. So the question is, who controls yours? My fellow Americans, something to think about, wouldn't you say? I love you guys. I want to unite with each and every one of you. I want to share knowledge, wisdom, and understanding so that we can make ourselves and each other better, stronger, smarter. Say it with me. More aware, more connected, more cooperative, more pragmatic for you, for me, for all of us. I'm going to hit a commercial and I'll be right back. All right, people, welcome back to the show. I got a couple more videos I want to share with you today. And then we're going to move on to the punk rock. Let's take a listen to this little video about nuance. Here we go.
Nuance is dead because we couldn't monetize it. You can't fit, it's complicated, and I'm still figuring it out, into a viral tweet. Can't build a personal brand around, honestly, I don't fucking know. The algorithm doesn't reward patience or intellectual humility. It rewards certainty, outrage, and picking a side so aggressively that people either worship you or want you dead. We've turned every conversation into warfare. You're either enlightened or ignorant, woke or problematic, with us or against us. No in between. No yes and. Just binary fucking thinking dressed up as moral clarity. The Stoics called it apatheia, freedom from destructive emotions through clear thinking. We've achieved the opposite. Enslavement by reactive feelings while genuinely believing we're the rational ones. We haven't built communities, just echo chambers. Bunkers to hide in because reality is too goddamn contradictory to handle. We outsourced our entire moral development to platforms designed to farm our insecurity for engagement. They don't want us to grow. They want us addicted. And nuance is terrible for addiction. Nuance makes you pause. Question. Sit with discomfort. The algorithm needs you to react now. So we scroll past our capacity for critical thinking, mistake consensus for truth, and call it enlightenment. We'd rather be wrong together than right alone. Reality doesn't do either or. Reality is both and we're so scared of that complexity we've chosen comfortable delusions over uncomfortable truth. Nuance is dead because we couldn't monetize it. You can't fit, it's complicated.
Right, so that's great. There was some advice in there that I should probably take. I know it's not all, you're all ignorant and the few of us are stupid. I know I might come off like that from time to time, but that's just me expressing my emotions for dramatic effect here on the show. You know, I want to show that I'm feeling what I'm actually talking about sometimes. But, you know, there's a tricky line there. You got to be careful how you say things. People, you know, I have to present myself as on your team. I'm on your side. If you perceive me as a threat, then you're not going to listen to anything I have to say. That's good advice for both sides, right? Maybe just stop being on a side. Your side should be American. Your team should be your country, men and women, right? I mean, I don't know. Seems like a good idea to me. Despite our disagreements, despite our differences, we all find some reason or reasons to unite and to be together and to consider ourselves one entity, one consciousness, right? All right. Well, here's what happens when we don't do that.
In times of crisis, power centralizes. When systems are under stress, all political stripes tend to tighten, not loosen. their control. So it becomes less about ideology and more about our tribal thermostat flipping to survival mode. There's been research on left-wing authoritarianism showing that people who see themselves as open-minded still display the same levels of dogmatism and intolerance as those they oppose. When identity with a cause becomes strong enough, even well-intentioned groups will support suppressing opposing speech if they believe it protects what they value. At a deeper level, this raises a question about democracy itself. In a post-growth era, we have to ask what systems could maintain legitimacy, fairness, and coordination without the stabilizing fuel underpinning growth. Right or left, any group can slip into authoritarian modes when pressures mount and institutions falter. Resisting that slide means embedding pluralism, dissent, transparency, and distributed authority into our systems, no matter who's in charge. As we head toward the Great Simplification, authoritarianism policies are probably the default, in my opinion. And the only hope, which is one of the reasons I do this podcast, is some sort of a meta-political response, a systems-informed, trans-political commitment to resisting control from any direction. In times of crisis...
I love it. I absolutely love that. I find that to be fantastic. Yeah, fascism and communism got a lot in common, people. Any way you slice it, any way you look at it, it is a functional fact, in my opinion, I guess. But it's an educated opinion. We got to use our brains, got to use our minds, people. Got to fix our minds. Got to fix our stupid beliefs. We got to solve for the truth. Or else maybe, just maybe, we deserve to be conquered. Because we couldn't do it as a civilization. Do I think it's really that bad here in the States? I think that without correction, it can only get to that place. It can only get worse. Without correction. And that's why I'm here, people. I'm trying to correct in some small way our sprint towards totalitarian fascism, ideological communist subversion. The new way it is. The new status quo, the new world order. Perhaps. Right? I know. You know what? Maybe I'm out of my mind. Maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. Maybe I am just guilty of what my detractors and my accusers say of me. A tinfoil hat wearing nut job conspiracy theorist. Maybe. Maybe I go too far sometimes. Maybe I come off as too black-pilled sometimes. But I wouldn't feel that way if I didn't hold some level of belief on certain things based on research and looking into it and trying to learn about it and trying to understand it. When you do that, you arrive at some conclusions from time to time. And those conclusions can come off to a lot of people as bullheadedness, arrogance, thinking that you know everything, being a know-it-all, when really you just investigated and learned the facts and evidence about something. Just the fact that you did that is going to be threatening to a lot of people for a number of reasons. And you're going to have to be prepared for that when you start engaging in critical analysis, rational thought, and the quest to seek and find truth. Crazy world out there, people. Only getting crazier. We should probably prepare our minds. I like this. Let's end this segment with this. This will be a short segment, and then we'll move on to the punk rock. I like this when I saw this. Check this out. If we don't stand now, we bow forever. Let's read this together. We don't want or need your digital ID. We don't want or need your biometrics. We don't want or need your facial recognition, your facial scans at work, your emotion recognition cameras, pre-crimes, right? We don't want or need your AI surveillance towers, your constant surveillance cameras, your drone patrols, your smart city monitoring, your predictive policing, your forced data mining, your mass tracking, your data harvesting wearables. We don't want or need your mandatory health monitoring devices, your smart meter utilities, surveillance, your cloud-connected vehicles, your digital vaccine passports. And we don't want or need your programmable central bank digital currencies. We don't want or need your social credit scores, your geofencing restrictions, your AI-powered behavior tracking, your AI-monitored classrooms, your mass social media surveillance, your mind-influencing algorithms, your online speech patrols, your algorithmic thought policing. We don't want or need your techno-fascist new world order state. Your brave new Orwellian surveillance police state totalitarian dictatorship world order. We don't want it and we don't need it. The system is desperate because people are waking up and its spell is no longer working. The more desperate the system becomes, the more mistakes it makes. And the more mistakes it makes, the more frantically it needs to cover those mistakes. And the more frantic it gets, the more grotesque and evident its script becomes, and the more obvious its game becomes, the more people wake up. And then, hopefully, checkmate. The house of cards is falling, and there's no turning back. You know what? I really hope so, people. I really hope so. And before I go, let's listen to this guy talk about what happened to punk rock.
All my friends in bands and stuff, they used to play shows and bitch about government and how government fucks everybody over and how much they hated it and stuff. And then they grow older and now they join a party and they act like their opinion matters. Like, oh, well, maybe government's okay since I'm a Democrat or since I'm a Republican. But it's not. It's the same government you bitched about when you were fucking 20 years old playing in a fucking death metal band or a thrash band or whatever the fuck you played in. You just got old and soft. You just got senile and brainwashed. And now you're just a fucking stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. You know what, people? Fuck them posers, right, bro? Yeah. No, not today. Not fuck them posers today. Today, I'm coming from a place of peace, love, unity, and respect. You're not an ignorant American dipshit today. I love you, each and every one of you. And I want what's best for you. I want you to get smart. I want you to get strong. I want you to be prepared for the inevitable. I want you to be prepared for the worst. So that if even half of the bullshit I talk about on this podcast actually comes to pass sooner or later. I think my purpose here is that you're ready. I'm helping you be ready. I'm helping you be prepared for the dystopian nightmare that might be just around the corner. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let's turn up the optimism and the fun, and let's go play some punk rock. All right, people, welcome back to the show. It's time to play some punk rock. And this band is awesome. And they just came out with a cover song, a punk rock version of this song that themes up perfectly with the show today. It shows what happens in this world when we let authoritarian, tyrannizing, demagogue, megalomaniac, ruling class elites send us off to fight bullshit wars of aggression overseas. Not because you're defending your country, but because Israel and the Vatican and Italy want to make some more money at your sons and daughters' expense. And the only reason why you're not aware of it is because of everything I have talked about on this podcast today, in this episode. You are living in delusion, a lot of you. You believe things that simply are not true. You listen to people that you think have authority over you and have absolutely nothing of the sort. And if you have lost your balls on such a level to where you aren't capable of recognizing and understanding that, then maybe you do deserve to be conquered. Maybe the big club and their plan for the world is what's best for a lot of you. Programmable, lemming, useless idiots. Useful and simultaneously useless idiots. The useless eaters that Klaus Schwab talks about in his book, The Great Reset. All you people think this is conspiracy theory. Yet, these people have written their plans for the world down in books for you to seek out and discover for yourself. And the fact that a lot of you still refuse to do that is the reason why you sit in your useless, pathetic life, going nowhere, learning nothing. You might as well be a beast amongst enlightened men. And this song talks about exactly these points. Ladies and gentlemen, making their return to the Politics and Punk Rock Podcast, here's Delay the End with their cover song of the band The Cranberries song, Zombie. All right, people. That was Delay the End with their cover song of the Cranberries' famous track, Zombie. And my fellow Americans, are you a zombie? What's in your head? A lot of people say the zombie apocalypse is already upon us because so many of you unenlightened, unintelligent human beings might as well still be beasts, animals that have no longer risen to their mental capabilities. The gift of reason that your Creator has given you. I forget the quote, but there's a old philosopher in the past that says, I refuse to believe that an all-knowing, all-powerful God that's bestowed you with your five senses and with your sixth sense of reason did not intend you to use those faculties. It doesn't matter if you're a religious person or not. If you do not use your mind, if you do not utilize your intelligence, if you do not hone your skills, fix your worldview and your bullshit beliefs, how do you know that what you think is real, is true, is factually accurate and correct, if you do not take the time to study, to research, to read, to learn? If you don't do the fucking work, my fellow Americans, then do us all a favor and keep your stupid mouth shut until you've done the work, until you've learned enough to comment intelligently on said topic. There's so much noise and bullshit in this world now with social media. The world needs enlightened, intelligent voices. And if you're not gonna do the work and take the time to become one of those voices, then you should probably shut the fuck up. For you, for me, for all of us. I love you guys. I know I can get tough love on you from time to time. Study evolutionary psychology so that you can know why you continue to exhibit your bullshit behavior in this society. Because if we don't, my fellow Americans, you know what the result is going to be. More bombs dropped on innocent children. Is that what you want? I love you guys. Take care of each other out there. Good night. We'll see ya next time. This has been episode 241 of the Politics and Punk Rock Podcast, entitled Enlightenment of the Beasts. We'll see you next time. Mr. James Baldwin, take us out.
Love has never been a popular movement, and no one's ever wanted really to be free. The world is held together, really it is held together, by the love and the passion of very few people. Otherwise, of course, you can despair. Walk down the street of any city, any afternoon, and look around you. What you got to remember is what you're looking at is also you. Everyone you're looking at is also you. You could be that person. You could be that monster. You could be that cop. And you're to decide in yourself not to be.